Let's get right into the big game this week. Concacaf Champions Cup semifinals. Thursday, Messi and Inter Miami, last year's Supporter Shield winners, taking on the Supporter Shield leaders this season. That's right, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Both of these sides, guys, looking to punch their first ever ticket to the final. Storylines galore. What's the biggest thing you're keeping your eyes on?
Jillian, this is the biggest match in Vancouver Whitecaps history. Everyone will talk about Inter Miami and Lionel Messi, all the pressure that's on the GOAT in this Miami team that's chasing every single trophy. But Vancouver have an opportunity to do something they've never done in their MLS history, and that is step up in a massive moment and advance to a final that's not the Canadian Championship. Messi's coming to BC Place on Thursday. The Whitecaps don't just have a chance. I would argue they should be the favorite in this match. The crazy thing is, I don't expect them to wilt under pressure, and that is in direct opposition to their entire history. They've been in this part of the competition once before in 2017. Tigres made them look like the underdog that they were. They've never been past the conference semifinals before in MLS Cup playoffs. But on this day, on Thursday, the Vancouver Whitecaps, thanks to their form, both in results and performances, should be considered the favorite to get a result. Remember, this is the team that knocked off Saprissa, Monterrey, Pumas, got 2 results in Mexico to get here. They're atop the Supporter Shield. They're doing it with a new coach, without their star player in Ryan Gauld. And may I remind you, this club is publicly up for sale, and yet they're here. The Vancouver Whitecaps are the story in this match, and that's a game that has Lionel Messi in it as well.
Wiebe, when you said biggest game of their history, franchise history, I'm thinking, can't be. But you're right. It's the biggest game for them. And you know what is refreshing about that? They've done it their way. Vancouver, since I've been in the league, they've never gone out and bought a big superstar to carry them up the league. This has started a few years ago, this journey. And, if we just go back to early years, it's Vanni Sartini coaching this team up, getting the love from just the neutral fan. And then Jesper Sorensen steps in and improves this side. And now to see them at this stage of the Concacaf Champions Cup, it's amazing. And you know what's even better? They're going to cause this Inter Miami team some problems. Inter Miami have been getting away with murder. I promise you that. There's teams that should have beat them. And I like Inter Miami. I love watching them. Obviously, they got the stars. But there's teams that should have beat them, in the last month. I'm thinking of Toronto, Chicago, LAFC in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's another team I may be missing, but they've been lucky. And this Vancouver side do not let up easy. They're very efficient and can score goals.
There is nothing lucky about what Vancouver are doing. I go back to it. Brad, if we would have told you, me, anybody who pays close attention to MLS at the start of the season that this Whitecaps group without Ryan Gauld are leading the Supporter Shield race and could knock off Miami and go to a CONCACAF Champions Cup final, we would have laughed them out of the room. It would have been patently ridiculous. But there is something different about this Caps group. A tactical cohesion, emotional maturity, and a deep vein of quality in big moments. Now it's time to prove it, man. It's time to go take the championship step that no other Caps team has done before and to do it against the GOAT. And the flip side is, it's the GOAT. So think back to that LAFC series. Even when LAFC were up 1-0 after the first leg, guess who got the job done? It's the GOAT and his buddies.
Wiebe,
yeah.
Joe.
Miami, though, won that 3-1 at home. So I have to ask, Wiebe, I feel like I know where you're going with this one. You're very high on the Vancouver Whitecaps. So, Brad, when the series does shift back to Miami next week, who wins this series?
The Vancouver Whitecaps.
Ooh.
I think we know. I think Vancouver Whitecaps win for the reason I said. Vancouver are they're efficient, man. All sides of every facet of the game, they're good at. Solid. Brian White's on absolute fire right now. If he's given a chance, I think he's taking it. And that's the one little weakness for Inter Miami I see. They do give you chances, but you have to take them.
Jill, you said I was high on the Whitecaps. I might be high on the Whitecaps. I'm not high on my own supply. I'm still in the end going to pick Inter Miami. I just think Vancouver have every possible chance in this. It's just impossible for me with the money on the line, with Messi on the brink of a final he absolutely is desperate to be in and win for his club, that they wouldn't get the job done. So I'm going to play it safe. Inter Miami, but my heart, that's with you, Vancouver.
We quickly, we spoke a little bit yesterday. Is this the biggest game in Inter Miami's history?
I think it is also the biggest game in Inter Miami's history, just in terms of the stakes, in terms of the context, and in terms of what the result means. The stakes are very clear. It's going to a regional final, a place that Lionel Messi lived and won titles in Europe. And the context is very clear as well. Miami haven't gotten the job done in big games like this before. That LAFC game, it was really the first time we saw it. So, Brad, that ups the stakes on both sides. Both desperate, both need to get into a final, both want to win it. It's the biggest match in both clubs' MLS history. I completely agree.
It's crazy. Crazy thing.
Okay. All right.
Crazy.
So bigger than winning the Leagues Cup final, bigger than lifting the Supporter Shield at Columbus, bigger than their 3-game series against Atlanta, where they did not go on in the MLS Cup playoffs. Okay. All right. I'm hyped for this one. The winner of this series will face Tigres or Cruz Azul in the Concacaf Champions Cup final.